I took PCMB and then I failed miserably in it.
Something just in my body only. Oh my god.
We just got over with the pandemic. I just had a baby and I wasn't working. I still remember my first video. Like I was like a newsreader, like straight up facts, They have a fight with their husband, they call me, say, what should I do? Really like the haldi and hydrochloric acid.
Not hydrochloric.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Tanya, welcome to Chumma Conversations.
Hi, so excited to be here.
Yay, we're finally talking, and I wanted to ask you, neen yenenna ulliya?
Naan chaite ullo. Thank you so much. It's so nice of you to learn a cool phrase.
Those of you who are listening, we were speaking in, do you call it Kodava or Kurgi?
Okay, so it is Kodava, but it's anglicized to Kurgi. And since these days everybody is getting back the getting back the original versions. So now everybody says Kodava or Kodavati, Kodatak.
Oh, okay.
But beach mein, when everything was anglicized, we used to say Kurgi. So
yeah.
sometimes it comes out of the mouth wrong. So yeah, both are the same actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you wondering why we are talking about Coorg and Coorgi, Tanya is from Coorg.
Yeah.
Were you born and brought up there?
I was born, and I think around 6 years old when I started schooling, I moved out to Mysore.
Okay.
Yeah. But
which school in Mysore did you study in?
I went to St. Joseph's Central School.
Okay. What was schooling like for you?
It was good. Mysore's a very small town, and it's pretty much like everybody knows everybody kind of a place. If you're from a small town, you would probably get it. So it was good. I studied in the same school for 10 years, so my friends were pretty much the same growing up. And I think I was a very shy kid, and I didn't talk much. I was just like into sports and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, so my mother also grew up in Mysore. She did all of her schooling in Mysore.
Lovely.
So even she studied with she had a lot of Kurgi classmates.
Okay.
So she would tell me that, the thing about Kurgis, they are beautiful, they are smart, and they are very athletic. So you're beautiful, we can see. You're very smart, we know that. So what sports are you good at?
So I play basketball and throw ball. I don't know if you know throw ball. It's very famous in Karnataka.
I played in school.
Like I left Karnataka and people are like, what is this game, throw ball?
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. Were you ever in like school teams? Like, would you compete with other
Yeah, I
schools?
did. I actually played for the state. I used to play for Karnataka.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, throw ball. Basketball, I started playing pretty late in my life. Actually, in 11th, I started playing basketball. I was like, I'm going to learn how to play basketball. So I've just played basketball at club level and at college level. When I was doing my law, I used to represent ILS.
Wow.
Yeah, but
you have so many talents. It's crazy. But tell me more about your college life. So you did first your BBM in finance from Mysore, right? And then you went on to do law at ILS in Pune. And then you went on to do a post-grad diploma in IP rights.
Yeah, I've done a lot of things in my life.
Yeah. So how come you switched from BBM in finance to law? Was law always part of the plan?
So law was always part of the plan, somewhere at the back of my head. But I told you, right, I was pretty much shy in school, so I never really could, tell anyone or aspire to be a lawyer, because in my head I thought lawyers have to be really loud and, super confident, which I wasn't at that time. So I said, okay, maybe I need to do like engineering or medicine like every other kid in Mysore did. Most of my classmates were engineers or doctors. So I took PCMB and then I failed miserably in it.
Okay.
And then I went on to do my finance because I thought maybe I'll do the MBA route. So I was
Right.
pretty confused. I don't know why I never thought of doing law right away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had great guidance, and I just like really screwed up when it came to my studies. I did a lot of things. But yeah, it's only after I finished my graduation, I worked for a year, and then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I started earning, and with money, you get this kind of confidence. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm going to do my law, right? I don't want to do my MBA, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what happened.
That's amazing. Usually, when people get their first salary, they do not think of putting it in another education. They're like, I finally get money, let me spend it.
Yeah, no, it
So
wasn't about the money, like the saving bit.
mm-hmm.
I don't think I saved up much for my law degree or anything. Law degrees, at least the college I studied in, wasn't expensive like it is today. Like nowadays,
Okay.
people spend lakhs on law degrees. Mine was like a
Yeah.
pretty, like it was a government aided college, so the fees wasn't much. So it wasn't about the money. I don't know, like once you get out of home and you get your first job, there is this confidence you get in yourself, right? So it's easier to
Yeah.
make decisions that time than it is when you're under your parents'
Right.
guidance. So yeah, that's what happened with me.
You said you were very shy earlier and you are very confident now. So where along the way did you pick up this confidence? Was it in college?
Uh, I truly believe that if you've been in one place for too long, you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
stereotyped as a particular person, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
example, I was in the same school, I was in the same city for a long time, and maybe I was shy as a kid, so people just assume that oh, Tanya's a shy girl, she doesn't talk much, she's very soft spoken. And although I
Yeah.
was super opinionated in my head, and maybe just like a very good friend knew about it, I don't know. So it's only when I got out of that school environment, met new people, you know, went to college and started doing other
Mm-hmm.
things. I think that was the exposure that kind of got me out of the shell. That's what I'm guessing if I can remember.
So what was it like when okay, so you finished your law studies. What was it like when you first started working as a lawyer? Was it a complete like 360-degree difference from your earlier corporate job?
I was actually, as a lawyer too, I worked in PricewaterhouseCoopers. So it was a
Right.
company, it was a corporate job
Mm-hmm.
right after college. So I think environment wise, it is pretty much the same, but the
Mm-hmm.
stress and the responsibility wise, it was, you are just a graduate who's in. I was a Deutsche Bank, and that was just a very, starting level job. I don't think I did
Mm-hmm.
much in it. Although even PricewaterhouseCoopers was a entry level job, but the kind of exposure, responsibility you get at that level in a big four is,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing to compare with any other entry level job. So yeah, so that way, that was the difference. But if you're talking about going to court and stuff, which I did a little later on in
Mm.
my life, yes, I mean that's an completely opposite. It's like chalk and cheese. And I also unfortunately worked in a small town like Jodhpur.
Right.
So you know that small towns have different. What do I say? Like the culture is so different. Like I still
Mm-hmm.
remember I was working late in office one day, and the attender there, the clerk भैया there
Uh.
was like, मैडम खाना नहीं बनाना है क्या आपको, घर नहीं जाना है, हस्बैंड को भूखा छोड़ोगे आप. I was
Oh.
like, okay, like my husband can take care of himself.
Yeah.
But the culture is such. And then in the beginning, I had this problem where none of the men in the office would talk to me
Mm-hmm.
looking at my eyes. Like, they wouldn't look at me.
Where would they look
They
at
wouldn't
the
look.
ground?
They would just be like, they would avoid any kind of conversation with me. Like, it was a very different environment. I don't know. Like, I haven't
Mm.
experienced it before because I never worked in a small town. Like, yeah.
Right.
So I think every place has its own culture. I mean, I mean, you just got to deal with it. It took them a while to get comfortable with me. So, yeah.
Coming to another profession, tell me about when you started your Instagram journey. So there are people who usually start their Instagram pages making content. They fall in two categories. Some people who just start posting for fun and then they blow up and then decide to take it seriously, and some who are like much more intentional about it when they begin. So what were you in these two?
I think I was intentional when I began. Like I knew why exactly I was making content and on what I
Mm-hmm.
was going to make content. I mean, it wasn't just for fun. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it was for some personal reasons because I had just, there was the pandemic. We were in the mid of the pandemic. It was in the, we
Hmm.
just got over with the pandemic. I just had a baby, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't working. I couldn't get a job at that point of time because my baby was too small and I wanted to stay back at home. So I wanted
Right.
to create something for myself that I could, you know, um, do something from home. And also if I kept moving, because my husband is in the army, so we keep moving every two
Yeah.
years and something that I can do irrespective of where I'm living, in a village, in a city. So that was the
Yeah.
whole idea, that I wanted to create something for myself. Second thing which inspired me was, I think I want to do something on women. So when I started my
Mm-hmm.
page, it was more towards women's rights, and I used to speak a lot about women's rights because that's what I felt quite passionate about. Like during my
Right.
work, during my when I was in litigation, I used to see that that women generally, like, let's say, we're smart, educated,
Yeah.
empowered in all sense,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to laws, women are like clueless. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why that is the case. Like, I think they rely too much upon the male members in the family to take care of that issue. Like, if something goes
Correct.
wrong, the first person you would go to is your father or your brother.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think of
Yeah.
handling it yourself when it comes to legal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that was something
Yeah.
that was missing. So I wanted to bridge that gap where, so these were two reasons, very specific reasons with which I started making content. So I wanted to kind of develop it a little more into work for myself, yeah,
Yeah.
and also giving to the society, kind of a thing. So it wasn't just for fun.
So it was your passion with your purpose that came together for
Yeah.
your page, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so tell me about when you first started. It's quite intimidating for anyone to start creating content because you're trying to figure out your own voice, your own space. You don't know whether it'll work. But also, did you feel intimidated by kind of thinking about a generational gap, because there were a lot of Gen Z content creators coming up at that time whose content was completely different and they were doing very well. So did you ever feel like, will I be able to connect with the audience that I'm looking to connect with?
I definitely did because I think I started a content creation journey in my life a little too late. Like I was 35 when I 34, 35 when I started making content. And that is
Mm-hmm.
not the age when you, unless you're like a mom creator or something that other people can, relate to. I haven't seen, I did have to, connect to an audience which was much, much younger to me. And yes, I mean, the first few days was quite intimidating because we are not a generation that's comfortable in front of the camera. Like I
Mm-hmm.
see kids these days, like they're so at ease recording everything,
Yeah.
taking pictures of everything, being on camera. For me, we were like a generation where ha kabhi kabhi photo le liya when we were together with friends, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
daily part of our lives. Being on camera
Mm-hmm.
wasn't something that was very comfortable to me, at least. So when I started, I mean, I really didn't know where to look, or I still remember my first video. Like, I was like a news reader, like straight up facts. So, yeah, I mean, it was into, I still feel that. I mean, even 2 years down the lane, I feel like, what can I do? Like, maybe my audience is a little more mature. I may not have too many, that 18 to 22, 23 audience. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Like, I think I have a very few of it. I do still find it difficult to connect because, let's face it, even 5 years these days is a generational gap. And, like 10, 15 years is, a lot to connect. But we do have audience of all ages on Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, there's something for everybody in it. And I think,
Yeah. And I think, you know what, when it comes to things like finance and law, these are things that are not taught to us very well in
Yeah.
school, and it's a gap that we're trying to bridge. So, even though I may not want to become a lawyer myself,
Yeah.
I'm still interested to know, okay, what are the laws? How can I keep myself safe?
Yeah.
And I remember even when I was faced with a situation where I wanted to take legal
Yeah.
action, I didn't know what to do. I was Googling, like, what can you do in this? Like, what
Yeah.
sections does this come under? So it is really, really helpful to have someone talk about it in such easy to understand terms,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is not easy to do when you're talking about law.
Yeah. So we are, as a lawyer, we're used to um, using phrases to make yourself sound more fancy and important.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
talking simple doesn't cut it, because we need to, you know, law is not easy. Like even this a single sentence would be a little more complicated. The language would be more complicated. So to dumb it down so much, or like, it's literally like dumbing down the language and dumbing down everything. So I would take like the smallest and the simplest of topic,
hmm,
like really, really, really cut it into small bits and then present it to crowd.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think that really helped. I mean, I remember when in the initial days I had people telling me that, like, we've never seen content like this before, right? Because at that time there
yeah,
was nobody really making legal content on Instagram. There were a couple of
hmm,
YouTubers, but not on Instagram. So
yeah. And it also does make a difference getting this kind of content from someone who has experience working
yeah,
versus people who are law students,
yeah,
right? So that's a huge factor in people building their trust in you and what you have to
that's
say.
true.
um, and I've also noticed that it, especially when it comes to law and legal matters, because very often you're talking about news articles where someone, there's a big headline which made a lot of news. There is a lot of backlash, especially from when it comes to cases of women.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, you have a lot of people going like, what about men's rights, what about this, what about that? How have you been able to sort of filter through all this, because it can be a lot to take when so many people are writing these paragraphs with zero context of who you are and what you do. How are you able to kind of tackle this negativity that comes?
See, I have realized myself over a period of time. It didn't happen in the start, but I understand that people on the internet have the ease to give out their opinion however they want. So there is not much thought going into it. Like recently, I
Mm-hmm.
made a video saying that, if there is no there's no there's no sex between partners, then one can file for a divorce. If
Mm-hmm.
there's no sex for a long period of time. So people started, yelling at me like it was my personal opinion. Like I am saying that if you don't have sex for too long, then you deserve to take a divorce. And I'm like, no, this is a judgment which has come out in an actual court. I mean,
Right.
I don't really say anything out of, just out of my head, just like that. But then it's so difficult to say this or make people understand, because
Yeah.
I understand that people come from all kinds of, society and cities and villages and towns, and people with different kind of mentality. So I really, after a point of time, there is no use in arguing or wasting your energy on such things. Although sometimes, like if somebody has commented something on the kind of work I do or on something I've said, I do think about it a lot. Like I'll not,
Hmm.
like, I don't think anyone can be as strong to just, like, like, I don't care about the criticism. I have gone to
It's
sleep.
very
Yeah.
difficult.
I have gone to sleep at night sometimes thinking about, what that person said. Some stranger on the internet said. So uh, you can't really deal with it. But yes, I think to some extent I've learned to uh, create that, that barrier, that okay, fine, somebody
Right.
said this, great, that person comes from a place, maybe, gone through something personal in their lives, and
Yeah.
that's a good way to just throw it out at somebody else. So that's what
Yeah.
they did, so I just let go of it. Yeah,
But it is a whole journey to reach that point,
it
right?
is.
Because there are times you feel so low and like so bad about yourself.
I think I went through a phase where I would be like, let me give it back. Like, let
Yeah.
me say something really mean back. Maybe that will make me feel better. But now I've stopped doing that too, because I feel that, if somebody has something long to say, maybe that person has gone through something. Because I do talk about,
Right.
very personal matrimonial issues or issues with the families. So maybe that person has gone through something. I also started to, put myself in the shoes of all the men who talk about men's rights. Of course, there is a
Mm-hmm.
huge crowd of people who just say it for the sake of it because they've read some
Right.
article. But there's also a crowd of people who have personally gone through some, you know, something bad in their lives, and I'm guessing that's where they come from. So, I mean, I try to be a little more
So empathetic.
empathetic,
A
is the
lot more
word, yeah.
empathetic. Yeah. I also wanted to ask you, so comments are one thing where people are expressing their opinion on something you've said, but what about DMs? Because when I put out that question sticker on my story saying, ask questions for you, so many questions where people were talking about their personal matter, like I am going through
Yeah.
this, what can be done in this case, what can be done in that case. And I was thinking, if this small sticker got so many DMs like this, like your DMs must be filled with people asking you about their problems.
Yeah,
And I'm sure at the beginning you were talking to people, helping them out, because your immediate nature is to, okay, this person is asking me,
something.
let me help them out. And I remember you had posted a story where some lady had sent you a long
Yeah.
paragraph, and then she was like abusing you and angry because you didn't reply. When did you realize that you needed to have that boundary with what people were sending on DMs, and how they could then, consult you for an official consultation?
I trust me, Satshya, I've not yet drawn that boundary. There is still a lot of free advice I give away on DMs because, um, like, first of all, there are a lot of DMs. And I think if Instagram went by engagement on DMs, I probably would have better engagement than I have right now, because these people don't really come and comment or engage with your videos or posts, but they will engage
Hmm.
with stories, maybe, or they will ask your personal question, just leave. I've seen that also. Like,
Hmm.
they won't even follow you, they'll just ask you something, and then once they get the answer, they just leave. So
Hmm.
there are all kinds of people, but yes, like you said, I also have it in my nature to uh, help. If somebody asks me for
Hmm.
help, I'm not somebody who's like, नहीं हो सकता भाई, book करो consultation. But yes, if I see that, if it's a one simple question, I give a one simple answer, I can manage that. But if somebody is
Hmm.
telling me a whole story about what happened in their family, or what happened in their life, they want to tell me that Saturday को ये हुआ, Sunday को ये हुआ, this साल
Yeah.
इस ये हुआ मेरे husband के साथ, then these are things that no human being can follow on a DM.
Yeah.
And you have to take my time and pay a little money to take my time for that.
Correct.
So now I have started doing that. Like, if I feel after one DM or one reply, this is it, I can't help them anymore on DMs, then I tell them to book a consult. Some people, I just directly tell them that, if somebody has interacted with me over a period of time, I feel like,
Hmm.
yes, let me just help them out just like that if I can. But
Hmm.
if it's some random person, then I'm like, please book yourself a consult and talk to me. So, yeah, it is
Yeah.
hard. I still haven't been able to, draw a proper line or a boundary saying, no, I'm not going to help you with your DMs. Please go and
Yeah.
consult, because I don't even have the bandwidth to do that. Like, if I have 10 consultations a day, I can't take it. Like,
Yeah.
listening to even people talk about their lives is kind of hard after a period of
It's
time. Yeah,
very
it's very
heavy.
heavy.
It's very heavy to take that
Yeah,
on.
so,
Especially if you are an empathetic person, then you take on, you feel that
yeah,
what the problems that they're feeling through.
that's
So
true.
it's really very heavy. And I remember, like, when I had posted that thing about the stalking incident and how I take an action, there were a lot of people who were DMing me their stories, like, this happened, this happened, this happened, now what
Yeah.
do I do? I can't tell my parents, I can't go to the police, I can't tell anyone, what do I do? And then you're like, I want to help this person, but I don't have a law
Yeah.
background, I don't have security background, I don't know how you
Yeah.
help you out. So I can only imagine what every day in your DMs must
Yeah.
be like. Yeah, and those who are listening, if you need legal help, just book a consultation. You have that on your
Yeah,
bio,
I do.
in
I do.
your profile,
Yeah,
right?
I do have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. Have you ever had someone book a legal consultation but then end up just chatting with you?
A lot of ladies, especially ladies, I feel sometimes, they just want to talk about their problems. Like they don't
Mm-hmm.
really want any legal advice. They just want like life advice, and they feel that it's okay to call me and ask for, like, I have people like, what should I do, ma'am? Like, my husband is like this, my husband is like that, my mother-in-law is like this, my mother, what should I do? I said, I can't tell you, like, I can't tell you
Yeah.
what decision you need to take in your life. I can tell you information to help you make that decision, but you can't quote me saying, Tanya ne ye bola, so I'm going to leave you.
Yeah.
That is not something I can help you with. So I do have a lot of people who just want to talk about, what do I say? They need validation that whatever's happening in their life is wrong. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
not exactly that they want to know legally is this okay, or they want some legal advice, but general advice too. I have received calls where uh, that also happens, and then some people think that I am their personal lawyer, so they can call me anytime.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
You gotta pay for
yeah,
retainer for
so
that.
every time there is a like after consultation, there are so many people I've seen 11 बजे फोन कर देते हैं रात को 10 बजे, like it's like any number of times they have a
Mm-hmm.
fight with their husband, they call me and say, what should I do? I'm like, listen, this is not how this works.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think also, like, I guess, we are not encouraged to talk about issues within the family. We are told, don't talk about it in public, don't tell anyone else about it. So you can't talk to a therapist, you can't go out and tell your friends, your
Yeah.
family. Then I guess everyone ends up coming to you. Ma'am, what should I do?
I think it is comforting to talk to a third person, uh,
Yeah.
very, very far away sometimes. So.
So, is there any content that you regret making in all this time?
Not really.
Anything that you've created and you thought, okay, maybe I should have done it like a different way?
I mean, yes, I mean, a lot of my content I look at right now, and not the topic, but maybe the way I have made it, yes. Like, I feel like I could have done it better, or this was really stupid or cheesy. Why did I do this? I also look at my content, why am I making these faces? Like, why am I talking like this? That kind of,
Uh-huh.
yes, I do have regrets, but not the content, like not the topic I'm talking about. I don't think I've covered anything that I regret doing. Like I
But it's
try, like
always good
most of
to.
the things times I talk out of my heart. So like
Mm,
I'm not like a content creator who has a schedule and who has like the topics
mm.
lined up, and that's how you should be ideally if you are planning to
Yes.
make content. But I sometimes, like, if I feel something, like, I read something and I feel something, or I feel very strongly about it, I will talk about it. So that is my flaw. I mean, I ideally should not be doing that, but that's just how I am. So yeah, so that is, maybe I should regret doing that, but I currently don't as yet.
Oh, but it's nice that you're able to look back at your content and also see how you can improve, because there are some people who are like, I am the best. Yes, everything I did was so great. So you never really learn from that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Unfortunately, I've never got that feeling that I'm the best. I want to feel that.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's okay. I'm sure all your followers will be telling you you're the best. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I also was curious, like, as content creators, brand partnerships are very important to us because they bring in income for us. And a lot of times, or sometimes, there are some brands that don't fulfill their end of the promise, or they breach a contract, etc. Has this ever happened with you, or are brands too scared to mess with you because you're a lawyer?
Fortunately, I've never had that happen with me. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I've had good relations with whoever has rep the brands. I've had good relationship if I've directly spoken to the brand. So I've never had issues. I don't know if it has anything to do with me being a lawyer, or it is just I've been lucky enough to get like good brand work. I'm not too sure of that, but no, it's not happened to me. But I know a lot of people it's happened to, so I can understand.
Yeah. Do you ever get DMs from other content creators like, hey, this happened to me, like what can I do to protect myself from this brand, or they're not paying me, etc.
Yeah, initially I used to like, like I used to get a couple of content creators. We used to discuss, okay, this happened, that happened, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I would suggest to all content creators that they should definitely have a contract in place before, uh, we get random calls, DMs from someone and say you want to take on this work, and people just take on the work. But I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely suggest putting something in writing, because later on, if you need to get that money back, you need to have something in place. So
Yeah.
if it's a big work, then do a quick contract. These days you even get ready-made contracts online, so you don't really need to hire a lawyer to draft up a contract for you. So just have
Mm-hmm.
something basic in place, so tomorrow if you want to like take action against them or go to the court to get your money back, then you have something in writing. So
Yeah, makes sense. Your husband is Kashmiri and you're from Karnataka. Sorry, crazy pivot. But I was wondering, how do you merge the north and the south cultural influences in your home?
um my husband studied in the south. He was in Mysore too. So
Okay.
although he's a Kashmiri, he's been all around India because he's also a Fauji brat along with being a Fauji. So he has a
Okay.
little bit of like 4 years of engineering in Mysore. He's quite comfortable with South Indian food and the culture and the people, and some of his good friends were South Indian. So it's not like, oh my god, like I don't know how it is with you, because I know you're married to North Indian too. So, but initially I remember like I used to like really get irritated with something. He's like dosha for dosa.
But technically, he's not wrong. That's the Malayali
Is it?
pronunciation. Yes.
Oh god, it just like irked me so much because we don't say that in Karnataka.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
feel you
and then
on that
like
though. Yeah,
sambar for sambar.
yeah. Something just in my body only is like, oh my god. When you say that, it is so
Yeah, and
annoying.
like he's okay that way because he's more used to. But yes, with the family, I do have a tough time, at least in the initial
Hmm.
stage,
Yeah,
adjusting with the family, because of course they haven't really, you know, very comfortable with South Indians, and I've never lived with a North
yeah.
Indian family. So, yeah, that was a little tough. And they still say Karnatak for Karnataka. They still say there's something Kannadi for Kannadigas. Something like, something really strange going on there. Now I've just stopped. I
Yeah.
don't even like try to correct them. I'm like, please enjoy yourselves.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I can
Yeah.
totally relate. I've been through all this. So, nice. But it's good fun. Like, I'm sure your daughter's name is
Yeah.
Arya, right? Yeah, so she must be enjoying like both of these worlds that she's growing up in. Does she eat kurgi food?
Yeah, she does. Although I don't make much Kugi food at home because it's so difficult to make.
Yeah.
Like I find it easier to cook like simple North Indian food, like a roti or sabzi.
Right.
Just the whole cook food
Uh-huh.
is. I mean, if you make it daily, it's not difficult. But for someone like me, to source the ingredients first of all, because ingredients are not easily
Yeah.
available wherever you go. So I do find it a little difficult to make food. But then I do make a lot of other South Indian food, like Mangalorean, like Kerala food.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yum yum.
So yeah, she does enjoy it, and she doesn't know. She's still not very. She doesn't understand the concept of two different north south and two different languages.
Yeah.
She still doesn't understand the concept of it, but I'm sure she will as she grows up.
Hopefully she won't be saying
Dosa, dosa,
sambar.
sambar.
So, when you got married, um, I know your husband's in the army, so you'd have to move a lot. How was it when you had to leave your job and move to another place? Because I think at that time remote working
Wasn't there?
wasn't
Yeah.
so wasn't there. And I'm asking this because I've also experienced something similar where I've had to
Move.
like move
Yes.
countries because my husband's in another country. And if because I'm doing content creation, it's remote, I can do it from anywhere. So it wasn't a big deal. But I was just thinking, like, if I was in a corporate job and I had to leave all of that and then go to another country and I can't work here, it would have been so strange
Yeah.
for me. So what was that period like for you?
I think when I got married, to be very honest, I kind of romanticized the idea of moving so much. Like, you're still in that phase where everything is, nice and happy, and you're like, oh yeah, I would love to move every 2 years, not realizing
Mm-hmm.
how it would impact my career. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
nowadays women are smarter. They do think twice or thrice about whom they're falling for and whom they're getting married to, or how it would affect their careers. I didn't, because I knew my husband,
Mm-hmm.
my now husband, from since I was 19 years old. So I clearly did not know
Oh,
how my career or how my life would go. So when I had to leave, I didn't have to leave, but I was like, what's the point of getting married and then not being with your husband? That was my whole
correct.
idea,
Yeah.
that why would I want to live away at this age? Maybe 10 years
Mm-hmm.
later, 20 years later, for children, you have to live away and stuff, but not right now.
Yeah.
So when I left PwC, I remember I was very happy because
Mm.
I had just gone through a very, very stressful, the deadline dates. So we have like
Yeah.
sales tax filing deadline. Right now it's GST, but then it used to be different. Like sales tax was different, service tax was different. So I had gone through filing a really big, huge client's sales tax, and I was done. Like I said, I don't have any energy or any joy left in me. So when I left my job, I
Okay.
was so happy. Like I took a sabbatical first, actually. I wanted to just check it out if this is
Right.
something I want or not. I took a sabbatical first and then I put down my papers. But I was really excited to just, be at home and not do anything for a very short period of time. And then it really got to me. Like I couldn't do it. I mean, I thought that, this is something I could manage, but it's definitely not. So then I actually taught English in a school for a year, because
Oh,
that
wow.
place had
Okay.
absolutely nothing to offer in terms of my profession. So that's what I did
Mm-hmm.
for about a year. And then we moved to Jodhpur. So I picked up something there. So, yes.
Then you joined a company where nobody would look
Yeah.
at you. None of the men would look at you.
It was under a senior advocate, actually. So yeah, the sir was very nice. He's also lived in Bombay and everywhere and come, but his juniors were like a little like, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And also, I was an outsider. Like, I wasn't from Jodhpur. So that also makes
Right.
a difference there. Yeah.
I also wanted to talk to you about something that, I mean, I've been thinking about a lot, which is the creator brain and the ability to switch it off. Because I think once you start creating content, you look at everything around you and you think, oh, this would be a great idea. Oh, this would be a good video idea. And it sort of is in your brain
Yeah.
24/7 and you cannot switch it off to a point where people around you are like, can you please like enjoy the moment and not think about this would be a good video? Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, not in the similar way like you do, Satya, because you make a lot of relatable content. Like, like, your videos are something that somebody like it's a moment that may happen in anybody's life, and that's what you're trying to capture,
Right.
right? So no, not a similar way, but yes, I do. When I'm sleeping, I sometimes get up and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is a good idea. Like, let me just, let me just put it down on my phone. So yes, that happens with me a lot,
Uh-huh.
because I'm a night person, so my brains function much better in the night.
Mm,
So yeah, when I'm trying to get sleep, I get the best ideas and I do note it down.
same. Or I'm like thinking, okay, I'll keep my phone away
That
and go
doesn't
to
happen.
sleep. Suddenly one idea will come. Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens with me, but not in daily life. Maybe my content is not like that, so that's not something that really inspires me when I'm going about my daily life. But yes, raat ko it hits me like in the night.
Idea. How can I trigger people today?
Yeah.
Uh, Also, congratulations on winning the Cosmo Award for Instagram Lawyer of the
Wow.
Year
Thank you.
and the fact that you're the first recipient of it. That's amazing. That is so cool.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Thank you
What
so much.
what was that night like the night of the awards?
The award itself was crazy because I've never been to anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for creating content to get experiences like that because as a lawyer, I'm sure nobody would have invited me to a Cosmopolitan Award night. But I must appreciate the team. They really took care of us very well and they made us feel special. And
Mm-hmm.
also, Cosmopolitan is mostly a lifestyle magazine, and they also honor all the lifestyle creators, right? So there were a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them around, and very few of people like me around. I think we were the only,
Uh-huh.
like, just a few couple of us, like sustainable creators and lawyers. So I'm quite surprised that they chose to have a category just for us. I think it's amazing, and I'm happy to be pioneering like this category of awards.
Yay.
Yeah, it was a great experience. It was good, and you get to meet so many people from doing such different, interesting things. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to events much, like so I don't really meet creators much. So this was, yeah, this was a
Yeah.
great platform to like actually meet people.
It's very different interacting with creators rather than people who are not in this business. It's like meeting people from your own
Yeah,
profession, right? Whichever
yeah.
profession you're in, because only they can understand or relate with the things that you
Yeah,
go
and
through.
also I feel like as a infotainment creator, sometimes like, I've
Mm-hmm.
met people who are like into doing comedy or doing fashion reels, and there you can't relate
Mm-hmm.
to them. Like it's
Yeah.
like a different world altogether. So I saw like the comedians hanging out with the comedians, the fashion
Okay.
creators hanging out with the fashion creators, the LGBTQ plus creators amongst themselves. So they
Mm-hmm.
have their own groups because they keep meeting pretty often, in events. So
Correct.
they already have friends, they already have their own groups. And then there are few of us who are like, oh, okay, let's just go and start talking to like every random person you meet. But it's fun.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm always open to meeting new people and making friends. And I think I have made a couple of, if not many, a couple of new friends since the Cosmo event. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. And you looked amazing in
Thank
your
you.
sari. You looked really beautiful. Does it ever intimidate you about what to wear to such
Yeah.
events, knowing that there are so many fashion creators coming?
Totally, totally. So I remember I don't even have access to clothes here in Jammu, right? Because Jammu doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have like some fancy stores you can just go pick up a nice dress from. There's nothing available. And ordering online, like I remember I got Cosmo invite like 4 days before the event. 4 days before I got a mail
Okay.
saying, "Oh, you've been nominated." No, sorry. So the nomination came out, and then 4 days before the
Mm-hmm.
event, I got the actual invite for the event. Like like I
Okay.
wasn't even sure if, because some of the companies, they don't call all the nominees. They call only award winners or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that. So I wasn't too sure if I'd actually
Okay.
even be going for the event. So I was like chill, like not doing anything about it. And 4 days before I got the call that I have to go with my itinerary and stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, like what do I do now? So yes, I mean, because it was Cosmo, I did get myself a stylist because I was like, I'm not going to break my head on what to wear to this event. Like, I'm just going to let
Okay.
another person do that. So I remember we were talking about what to wear and stuff. And so she was like, cocktail dress and yevo, yevo. I said, listen, I don't wear cocktail dresses in real life. Like I hardly do that.
Right.
Like maybe for someone's wedding or something I won't, but this is not something I'm comfortable. Why don't we work with something I'm comfortable in? Because I wear saris like all the time. So maybe we could work out a cocktail sari or something. So that's how it came. Yes, it is intimidating, but I feel if you're comfortable with what you're wearing, it solves almost half the confidence issues because that's one less thing you're thinking about, that whether you are comfortable, whether
Yeah.
you feel good in what you're wearing. So once you feel good in what you're wearing, see, there are always going to be more beautiful people. There are always going to be sassier women out there. There are always going to be somebody wearing better clothes. And I mean, I'm beyond that age to get
Please, please.
to get like intimidated. Maybe like 10 years before or 12 years
Uh-huh.
before, I would be like, okay, I need to look better. I need to. But now I'm quite comfortable with my own self.
And you're much more
Yeah. So
confident as well.
that was. And I don't know, like Cosmo was a very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, although there were some, amazing creators, beautifully dressed, crazy clothes, there was something very comforting about the crowd. Like, I don't know if it had to do something with lack of men. It was like, it was just women out there, and the LGBTQ plus community. And I don't know if I might sound wrong saying this, but it really felt like a safe space. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't think about, is someone looking at me, what am I wearing, how do I look, because it was great. We were complimenting each other and everyone looked good. It was a nice place to be in,
Mm.
and I didn't feel intimidated for some strange reason. It was good.
Yay. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So, what about future plans? Because I read this article where it was published in 2021, where you said that your long-term plan was to eventually start your own practice, which was focused on women's rights and child protection. Is that something that's still on the table?
Yeah, I mean, I did have thoughts about doing that, but currently staying where I'm staying, it's a little difficult to
Mm-hmm.
start that in real life. So I either have to like move out of this place where I am, settle down somewhere for that to happen. But I think over
Right.
the 2 years, some of my plans have slightly changed. And I don't know if it's
Okay.
feasible for me to do that. But of course, if some opportunity comes my way, I will take it. But currently, no, not for this year. I don't have any such plans. I'm planning to write a sort of an ebook. Yeah.
Wow.
Um, if it can convert into a real book, then great. But you know, like more like a fun handbook on basic rights that you need to know. Something that you can
Mm-hmm.
like a ready reckoner. Not nothing too heavy, because a lot of people ask me that
Mm-hmm.
what can I read to understand the laws, and I'm like, I have read like some
Yeah.
1,000, 5,000 books in my life. You're not going to get everything in one book. But then
Yeah.
why not? If there's something that's
Mm-hmm.
not available in that sense, why not have one single book which has like the basic rights, that happens with you or you face in your day-to-day life. So I am
Mm-hmm.
thinking of something like that maybe for this year.
Oh, exciting. Those of you listening, keep an eye out. Please let us know when you're going to release it so we can
I'll come
pre-order
back
it.
to your Chumma conversations to talk about it.
Oh my God. Okay. Yay. All right. On that note, let's go to audience
Oh, okay.
questions. Okay. So, the first question's from Aditi. What's your beauty secret?
Beauty secret.
Uh-huh.
I think good genes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Because I do zero effort to take care of myself.
Uh-huh.
So it has to be good genes. Yeah.
Is there something that you wish you did when you were younger that you do now, probably?
I actually wish I did something right now, because skincare and hair care is something you really need to do in your 30s, so that you
Yeah.
look good in your 40s, and you don't have like bad skin and stuff. But I'm just so bad at skincare. I don't know why. Like, I really can't take care of myself. like, like the least I do right now is I put on like that. I think a Dr. Sates. Is that how you pronounce that company?
Shit, I think. Shit. Yeah, Dr.
Shades,
Shit.
right?
Yeah.
Dr. Shades. There's some Don't ask me the chemicals. I'm so bad at it. It's some Minamicide and
Uh,
something something. So there's a face mask, like a
mhm.
chemical peel, which I use sometimes, and then I really like the haldi and hyalo hyaluronic acid.
Not hydrochloric.
Hyalo, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Your PCMB is coming back to haunt you. Hyaluronic acid. Yeah.
Hyaluronic acid. Oh my god. Did I say hydrochloric acid?
Yeah. Ah,
Oh
okay,
god, I'm so
okay.
bad at this.
Uh,
I should be like a beauty creator or something. It'll be fun.
it was damn funny. It would be really funny.
So yeah, so I use that in the night.
Hmm.
But other than that, like I really don't do any skincare or moisturizer maybe.
Okay.
That's it. But yeah, this is something that I definitely want to like, do better. Like, especially given my age right now, I think I need to work on taking care of myself better. But
Okay.
20s, 20s was nothing. 20s was, 20s was maybe like a cream and kajal or something. That's it.
Nice.
Like that
Nice.
was our skincare and yeah.
Yeah, and now you see like 18-year-olds having like 10-step routines.
Yeah.
You're like,
And
how
I
do you?
wonder if it's actually helpful or it's gonna like, not help in the long run because I don't know. I don't want, why do you need to put on so many chemicals on your face
Hmm.
at a very young age? I mean,
Yeah.
your skin's gonna be naturally great.
If you
So
have skin like yours, if you
I
have good
don't I
genes,
don't have I don't have great skin at all. Like at all.
in any
But yeah.
case, I will send you a list of products that worked for me. Very
Okay.
few.
I think
Um,
I remember you had put up some story once, and I remember trying it out. I don't remember which
okay.
product. About a year and a half back.
Ah,
But yeah, you can
okay.
send me.
I'll send
Yeah.
you. Especially like sunscreen. There's this one sunscreen that my sister loves. Like when I went to visit her in the US, I took four of them
Oh
because she's like,
wow.
please bring it for me. So I'll send that to you. All
Yeah.
right. Next question. Okay, next question. This question's from Sophia. How was life as a 4G wife?
Uh, it's been good. It's been good. It has its own side effects. If I delve into it, there's going to be a long conversation because as a 4G wife, you're expected to do a lot of things for the community, that is,
Mm-hmm.
for the 4G community. There's a lot of workload on you. It's sort of a duty. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like your husband going to a company and coming back at the end of the job and you have nothing to do with that company, right?
Right.
As a wife, you have zero anything to do with that company.
Mm-hmm.
But in Forge, it's different. Like if your husband is working in the Forge, the wife is super involved in a lot of welfare activities, a lot of ladies activities. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it to like to a non 4G person. But yes, so that comes along with a job, and that's something that unfortunately can't be avoided.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I mean there have been times when your job gets in between, your career gets in between, and there are times when you can't be present for certain things. But I think I've managed to work around that. It's been 10 years, and and also I love this moving around every 2 years, meeting new people,
Mm.
uh, getting a different house in every station, doing up the house every time.
Uh-huh.
It's something I've started to enjoy over a period of time, and I really look forward to moving. Like now that we're completing 2 years, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
get those itchy feet. Like, okay,
Oh,
where are we
okay.
going next? Where are we going next? So yeah, so I am enjoying that life.
That's so nice that you're enjoying the moving process of it. Because for a lot of people, they're like, no, I don't want to keep moving all the
Yeah, but
time, you know?
that's a conscious choice you have made when you get married.
Mm.
I mean, it's not like it's hidden from you. You know
Mm.
you're getting married to 4G and you will be moving every 2 years. So you might as well see. There are some things I feel this is my personal opinion, that
Hmm.
there are some things worth fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that, fighting against it will give you some results, or
Right.
putting effort into raising your voice against something will give you results. This is not going to give me results. He has to move.
Yeah.
Like, it is inevitable that he moves. And one choice I have is to stay back in a place and continue doing my work and taking care of my family while he moves. But
Yeah.
if I want to be with him, then why put energy and thought into fighting that process, because you have to move anyways. So
Correct. Yeah.
now I think it's some kind of mind, what's the right word, like I've kind of told myself that, listen, you need to move, so might as well
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay. Last question. This question's from Ashima. What was your favorite part of your profession as a lawyer?
uh, I think my favorite part was, when you're like in like a lot of stress because of the kind of job you're doing,
Uh huh.
and then you reach that peak of stress, and then something really wonderful comes out of it.
Uh huh.
Like, you're either like helping a person out and there is a result. It's because our jobs are obviously result oriented. So,
Correct.
it's helped out that person, or it's helped out that company, and everything is positive. So that rush you get out of like I don't know if everybody enjoys it, but I do enjoy like a very high stress job. Like, I do get a little bit of rush out of it.
Uh huh.
So I think that is something I do enjoy. So that would be one. That is a very unlikely answer for what I enjoy about my job, but I do enjoy that. Second thing would be when people come up to me and tell me that whatever you said really helped me. Like, I remember
Mm-hmm.
there was this girl who once messaged me long back, like very very long back. I had made a reel which kind of went viral.
Mm-hmm.
So I was basically draping a sari and saying, "These are your rights."
Okay.
So that reel kind of went viral about a year and a half back. And she just randomly watched that reel. Like, she doesn't even follow me. Like, while
Mm-hmm.
scrolling, she watched that reel and she kind of liked it or something. So she told me that she was once had an issue with her in-laws, and her in-laws threw her out of the house, or tried to
Okay.
throw her out of the house, saying, just get out of the house. And she was like, no, I know that I have a right to live in my matrimonial home. I read about it somewhere. And then she really stood up to her in-laws and said, you can't throw me out of the house. And then she messaged me saying, I watched that reel, and that's how I remembered that you had said something like this, and I told this to my
Mm-hmm.
in-laws. I want to thank you so much for this. So I was like, wow, like the kind of impact even the smallest of thing can have on somebody's life is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And I'm just glad that, whatever little, I mean, even if it impacts one or two people, great, it's fantastic. Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Tanya, for giving me your time. Please
Thank
tell
you so much.
Arya also I said hi.
Yeah, I'll do
And I'll send her a
that.
picture of my doggy.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And all
Thank
of you who
you.
are listening, I'm putting all of Tanya's socials in the description. So, Tanya, you're active on Instagram. Where else?
LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, you're very active on LinkedIn. It's something I look up to because I find it
Not
very
really.
hard. But you at least post nice, interesting things. And I'm like,
Like,
wow.
once one platform is too much for me to handle. I know how people do YouTube and Instagram, and I know and podcasts. It's amazing.
uh, yeah, so I will put all of that. You should follow her. She's great and she's also really fun. As you see from this podcast, so many people were like, we're really looking forward to this episode. We want to get to know her better. We've only like seen her reel so far. So,
Oh, sweet.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for them to get to know you better as well. Thank you so
Yay!
much.
Thank you so much. It was
Yeah.
lovely talking with you, and I hope to meet you sometime in real life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Soon. Soon. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much for listening in. If you liked this episode, then please leave a rating on whatever platform you listen to this on so that it will help me get discovered by more listeners. New episodes of Chumma Conversations with your favorite content creators will be out every Wednesday, so make sure you click on that follow or subscribe button to make sure you never miss an episode when it comes out. Have a great week ahead. Bye.